All right, let's see here. Okay, so after that, I wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, well, first, let me talk about the new Golden Age. So, DC has brought back Jeff Johns, and they're going to be doing some new material for, I think, for Earth 2. And this is going to involve the Justice Society and other Golden Age characters. Bring that up. Okay, here we go. DC's Who's Who returns with new Golden Age entries for Aquaman, Red Lantern, and more. DC Comics has released a brand new Who's Who focusing on the 13 Golden Age characters previously teased at the end of Flashpoint Beyond #6. So apparently, there were several. We're going to find out that there were several Golden Age DC characters that were sort of erased from time or pulled out of time and therefore were forgotten. And they're going to be reinstated. And some of these are actual Golden Age characters, like the Golden Age Aquaman, who you see here. But then some of them, like this Red Lantern character, are completely new. DC has released a brand new Who's Who starring the 13 Golden Age characters teased at the end of Flashpoint Beyond #6. The Who's Who focuses on the 13 characters Rip Hunter says have been pulled back into history and that time is rebuilding around them at the end of Flashpoint Beyond #6. These characters include the Golden Age Aquaman, Quiz Kid, Legionnaire, the Harlequin Son, Judy Garrick, Betsy Ross, Molly Pitcher, Ladybug, Salem the Witch Girl, Cherry Bomb, John Henry Jr., and the Golden Age Red Lantern. Now, with the release of the new Golden Age from writer Jeff Johns, these characters have been created with artwork by Jerry Ordway, John Cleese, Todd Knock, Matt Hearns, Brandon Peterson, Scott Collins. DC said of the Who's Who, each new entry introduces or reintroduces characters from DC's library and details their personal data story, history, and powers and weapons for fans. And so here you see some of the images for these characters. And they're done in the style of the old DC Who's Who books that came out in the 80s. So it gives them a nice classic look. But some of these characters, most of them are basically new characters that never really existed in the Golden Age and are being brought back. And they're being introduced. A lot of them are basically young female characters who are being introduced as sidekicks to Golden Age heroes. And it's a way to, add more, diversity to the Golden Age characters, more female and more non-Caucasian characters. It's fine. Let's just kind of go through them. So you've got the Golden Age Aquaman here. Now, originally, of course, this character was Arthur Curry, and then in the Silver Age, his origin was revamped, and he became the Aquaman we kind of know, born the son of an Atlantean woman and a human man. Basically, they kind of in the Silver Age they kind of cribbed Namor's secret origin and used it for Aquaman because at that time Marvel wasn't publishing superheroes. But the original Golden Age Aquaman, the version was his father was this scientist who found these underground ruins, which were Atlantis, presumably, and then he found some scrolls that allowed him to make this serum. I think it was, or was it the scrolls themselves? I don't remember, but he was able to give his son aquatic powers, and so that's the character they're reinstating here. Now, obviously, if he is Arthur Curry, that would not make a lot of sense because Arthur Curry is already the modern Aquaman. So I believe in this it said that it's too small and fuzzy to see here, but in the entry for him, it says his full name is unknown, but he uses the alias Adam Waterman. So my guess is he's going to turn out to not be Arthur Curry, but be a different person. And then we've got these two sidekicks here. Again, two young female sidekicks for, I think, for Miss America. Then Cherry Bomb, and this is a young black woman who's being introduced as a sidekick to the human bomb, I believe. John Henry Jr., who's being introduced as a sidekick to John Henry, who is John Henry Irons from the present day DC universe, who goes back in time at some point and becomes a vigilante in the 50s. And then Ladybug, she's a sidekick, young female sidekick for Red B, of all people. Legionnaire, now this one is interesting. They don't release any information on him, but apparently this is a member of the Legion of Superheroes who is going to go back in time and wind up in the 40s, I guess. And then Mr. Miracle. So this is the original Mr. Miracle, Thaddeus Brown. Now, in the original comics that introduced the Mr. Miracle character, after Scott Free escapes from Apocalypse and comes to Earth, he meets this guy who is an escape artist, a kind of Houdini style escape artist whose stage name is Mr. Miracle, Thaddeus Brown. And he's the one who taught Scott Free how to escape from traps and stuff. And, and that's what this character is. So they're going to sort of retcon the original Mr. Miracle. Instead of being just a performer, a stage performer, he was also actually a crime fighter. And then Quiz Kid, who's going to be a sidekick for the Golden Age Mr. Terrific. Now, this one is interesting. The Golden Age Red Lantern. Now, the Red Lantern, obviously, there was no Golden Age Red Lantern, but they're introducing, and apparently, this guy is a Russian. He's going to be a Russian character. And apparently, his power doesn't have any connection to kind of like the Golden Age Green Lantern. His powers don't originate from the same source as the modern Red Lanterns do. He's come from a different place. Then Salem the Witch Girl, who I think is going to be, she's kind of like a female version of Clarion the Witch Boy, and I believe she's going to be a sidekick for Dr. Fate. As if Dr. Fate needed a sidekick. I don't think he does, but they didn't ask me. The Boom, who is Judy Garrick, who is Jay Garrick's daughter. And then the Harlequin son, who is the son of Harlequin, the Golden Age Harlequin, and it's unknown who his father is. Now, the Golden Age Harlequin eventually married Alan Scott, and they had two children, Jade and Obsidian, who became superheroes starting in the 80s. So I'm assuming that he is not the father of this character, that this character's father is someone else. And of course, that's all before they decided Alan Scott was gay. So it's going to be interesting. So, New Golden Age #1 is a new one shot released on November 8th by DC. The synopsis reads: From the Justice Society of America to the Legion of Superheroes, the New Golden Age will unlock DC's epic and secret ridden history of heroism, launching a new group of titles set firmly in the DC universe. From the 1940s to the 3040s, heroes take on the great evils of their time, but in the aftermath of Flashpoint Beyond, those heroes and villains will have their lives turned upside down. DC's future and its past will never be the same again. But how are Mime and Marionette connected to this? Why are Rip Hunter and the Time Masters the most unlikable heroes in the DC universe? And who or what is nostalgia? Don't miss the start of the strangest mystery to have ever plagued the DC universe. And this is written by Jeff Johns with art by Steve Leiber, Jerry Ordway, and I'm not going to say that other guy's name. I don't know. So I may have to pick this up and review it because this actually does look kind of interesting and kind of promising. All right. Now we're going to move away from the comics and we're going to move over and talk about the DC films for a minute.